Hello, juniors. This is the financial planning for the 11th graders. So I thought I would talk a little bit about a couple of important financial aid topics and financial planning topics, and then let you turn you loose to do the survey. So let's get right to it. The first thing I want to talk about is college costs. There are different types of colleges. You can see them kind of down the left-hand side of the chart here. And they provide different kinds of degrees, which you can kind of see in this column here. And then here are the costs. And these are estimated, so they're averages, they're rounded, you know what I mean? And then here is the estimated cost for out-of-state tuition, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But let's talk about the different kinds of colleges first. There are public technical colleges. Pickens is a good example of this, right? Pickens Tech is a good example of this. They give certificates and the occasional associate degree. Not very often do they give an associate's degree, but usually they give certificates. And it's true that costs vary by the program. At Pickens, for instance, they have dental assisting and they have EMT training, and they have early childhood education, and they have auto body shop, and they have a bunch of computer classes like mobile apps. They have veterinary assistantship kind of a class. They have a horticulture class. They have cosmetology. They have all kinds of things there, right? And so each program kind of varies in terms of how much they cost. But a good estimate would be about $3,000. Most Pickens programs are 2 years long, so it would be $6,000 total. Or APS will pay for part of this. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But APS can pay for part of that, if not all of it. Most tech schools, if you come from out of state and you come into Pickens or someplace like that, you would pay approximately double, a little more than double in this case. College counselors like to say something between 2 and 5 times more for out-of-state tuition. So if you go to an out-of-state school versus an in-state school where you have residency. So keep that in mind in terms of like where you end up going. A public community or junior college, this is like the Community College of Aurora, CCA. They give you certificates and they also give you 2-year degrees. They're called associate degrees. You can get an associate of arts, you can get an associate of science, you can get an associate of different kinds of things. They're slightly more expensive than the tech school, but not by much. It's right around the same kind of price for a 2-year degree. But guess what? Just like Pickens, Aurora Public Schools can pay for part of this. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But kind of comparative cost-wise, right? Out-of-state tuition is slightly more expensive, however. So keep that in mind. Then there are public 4-year colleges, sometimes called universities. This is like the University of Northern Colorado, or Metro State College, or University of Colorado at Boulder, or Colorado State University, those kinds of places. They kind of vary in price. So like UNC and Metro are on the lower end, while CU and CSU are on the upper end. You can see they cost about $10,000 per year. You're getting a 4-year degree, so you're looking at about $40,000 or so. If you're an out-of-state person, though, you'd be paying a lot of money if you don't get scholarships or grants or loans, which we'll talk about in a sec too. So this is all just the price of the school. Then there are private colleges and universities that are 4 years. They give the same kind of degrees. A 4-year degree is called a bachelor's degree. So just like CU and CSU up here, Denver University, Drake, places like that, they give 4-year degrees too, but look at the price. They don't get money from the state like public schools do, and so they have to make it up all through tuition and from donors that give money to the school. I guess the positive thing of going to a private schools that they tend to have more financial aid available in terms of scholarships than the public schools, and that's usually because um, the private schools scholarship funds are donations made by people who used to go there, and so and foundations and things like that, so they have some more access to scholarship money. But you'll notice that it's pretty much the same. It's just one flat fee, right? In-state, out-of-state. And then there's for-profit colleges. The word for them is called proprietary. You've seen their ads on TV. ITT Tech is one, that sort of thing. University of Phoenix is another one. Um, they give bachelor degrees, 4-year degrees. The costs here are slightly above the public schools, right? The public 4-year colleges. But, there's no in-state, out-of-state. They're in it to make money, so they have to charge more in order to make money, right? That's kind of how it goes. And I should warn you, though, that credits don't necessarily transfer. You know, a lot of times you have to take the program once you're in like ITT Tech, you have to take that program. Or once you're in University of Phoenix, your credits may not transfer anywhere else. All right, so that's kind of a overview of what different types of schools are and how much they cost, right? Um, those costs, this let's say this a nice round number, this $10,000, right, can be broken down into a couple of areas, right? There's tuition, which is the cost of actually, going to the class, and it varies wildly depending on where you're going, right? It can be anywhere from $300 a credit hour all the way up to $1,000 a credit hour. Um, there's room and board. So most colleges, if you go away to them, University of Northern Colorado or CSU or CU, they make the freshmen stay in the dorms their freshman year. And the reason for that is because all the freshmen come in as one group, and they come together in this one spot in the dorm rooms, and they're all in the same boat together. So there's a kind of camaraderie that happens where people enjoy hanging out with people that are in the same situation as them, and there's lots of friendships that are built in that first year because most people who go away to school don't know who their roommates are going to be. So everybody kind of bands together, and they're all in the same boat together. And that's kind of the reason why they choose to do that. But staying on campus is your dorm room fee and your meal plan, because they'll feed you there. It's usually pretty good food. I went to UNC, University of Northern Colorado, and I was happy with the food they fed me. Um, and room and board can be anywhere from $7,000 per year up to $12,000 per year, depending on where you go. Generally speaking, the bigger, more expensive schools are, they have more expensive dorm rooms and more expensive meal plans. Then there's some fees because once you pay all your tuition, you're going to get free. You've already paid for it, but free access to the library. They'll have like a student area that has a gigantic gym area, weightlifting and all sorts of activities you could do. They'll have a pool. They'll have all that stuff you could do there. You'll get health insurance. You'll get a bunch of free things by having your ID. Free things because you've already paid the fee. But free things like entrance into athletic events, and you take like at UNC, you would take your card around town, and at Blimpies they would give you it's like a buy one get one free sub, right? You would take it to the pizza place, and they would give you half off, and you would take it to what I mean. You would take it to places, and you would get discounts for being a student. To the movies, that's another good one. You get discounts for being a student at the movies. And that ranges anywhere from $200 for fees to $4,000 for fees, depending on what's going on in that part of campus life. And then there are the books, the scam that is the books. You have to have books for your classes, obviously, right? Some people view it as a scam because you have to get a new edition every year or two because they keep publishing a new edition every year or two. So they're kind of expensive. You can see the price here, right? Like a little over $1,000 for books, at both places, public and private schools. Um, and you kind of have to pay that every year, basically, So it's like $500 a semester, essentially. And the books are giant textbooks. That's why they're so expensive. Um, Now this is before you have financial aid. But here are some examples of tuition costs, right? So if you go to CU Boulder, attendance not including books will run you about $25,000. If you go to the University of Colorado at Denver, about $10,000. If you go to the University of Denver, or DU, about $51,000. If you go to the Community College of Aurora, it's about $3,000. You can kind of guess, University of Denver is the private school. You can tell because it's cost the most. Community College of Aurora, right around the $3,000 mark that we talked about last time. University of Colorado at Denver is right around the $10,000 kind of average. And of course, the University of Boulder, it's public, but it's one of the more expensive public ones. It's really nice up there, though. So you got to pay for it, though. I do want to talk a little bit about exchanges. There are study abroad programs that you could go to a school and then take a semester of that school time and go to a different country. I just had a student who went to DU, Denver University there, the University of Denver, the super expensive one. He's getting scholarships, so luckily for him, he's not paying this. He got to go to London and spend a semester in London. And then there was a London student that came to DU, and they kind of just, swapped lives for a while, like life swap, student swap. But there's also things that are called the exchanges. So the Western University Exchange, for instance, allows you to go to certain colleges for just a little bit above in-state tuition. So you're not going to be paying the 2 to 5 times tuition that you would be paying as an out-of-state student to go to, it's down here, like the University of Hawaii is one, Wyoming, Northern Arizona. There's more than that, but these are just some examples. But it's kind of an opportunity to go, explore a different place without having to pay the out-of-state tuition, which is kind of nice. And some of the schools, this is important, some of the schools might actually be cheaper through that program than, going to University of Colorado at Boulder. That's $25,000. The University of Northern Arizona is more like this, right? So, you could pay $12,000 and go to the University of Northern Arizona instead of the 25 grand to Boulder. One of the things that everybody will do this is why it's important for you to get a college in Colorado account. This is one of your ICAP tasks, juniors. The reason why you do this is so you can get the Colorado Opportunity Fund, the COF. It's mandatory for any school in Colorado that you'll have to sign up for it. But the good thing is that it will give you money. Just for signing up for it, it will give you money. And the money goes toward tuition. So it'll reduce some of those costs that we were just talking about. That's why it's important to do that. It is free money. All you gotta do is fill out it's like a 1-page form online. It takes 5 minutes, and you get free money and a whole lot less tuition. This is what it looks like when you get there. And this is through collegeincolorado.org. So the reason why I had you sign up for it is for this reason. This major, major reason is that the COF gives you free money. Yay! I love free money. I hope you love free money. When you get to be a senior, you will be filling out the FAFSA. So I'm not going to go into this in too much detail now because as a senior, you're going to be doing this when you go to college. But every person who goes to college in the United States does a FAFSA, which stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. So it's basically you take your tax information and you put it into this website, and then it could give you free money. This is how they do financial aid from the federal government, is through the FAFSA. So when you fill it out, you get this thing called an EFC, and I know I'm throwing acronyms at you that you probably don't care about right now, but you get an estimated family contribution, and that is how much money your family can pay for college, according to the FAFSA, according to your parents' taxes. And what happens then is the federal government then might give you a whole bunch of money. Like if the lower your EFC is, the more money you get. So the lower the amount of money your parents, well, the government says your parents can pay, the more money they will give you, which is kind of nice. So I mean, you could read through this if you want to, but it's more along the lines. I just wanted to give you kind of a preview for next year because I have this in the senior one. We could talk about loans and scholarships and that sort of thing. Um, and so, well, maybe I'll go back through it kind of quickly. This is stuff that, I'm going to go into more depth when you're a senior, but let's go through it real quick. A loan is money that's given to you by the government from the FAFSA, right? And basically, you get money from the government to go to school, and then you start paying it 6 months after you get done with your school. Um, I would like to say, as a note to everybody, there's lots of students who come to me and say, well, college is too expensive and I can't pay for it. Um, and then I say, well, why don't you get loans? And then sometimes, people are kind of nervous about the amount of money that would be in a loan. And and it's good to be cautious about spending that amount of money. That's a good thing. But it's also an investment in you. And so when I'm going to talk about this a little bit at the end too, when I show you a particular chart. But um, doing loans is not necessarily a bad thing, and I'll explain to you a little bit why that is. You could also get scholarships though, right? Everybody knows about scholarships. Um, and this is mostly it's for seniors. Not all scholarships are, but most of them are for seniors. Um, and they typically include, either you need them because, your financial contribution is not very high. You don't have a lot of money. Your parents don't have a lot of money to pay for college. You do something totally awesome, like you're involved in student leadership, or you're the captain of a particular club or team, right? Um, you have some kind of special talent, you know, or you have an affiliation. Like, there are scholarships that are given out through companies. So if you work for that company, they give you a scholarship. There's the Coke one, there's a Dell one, there's all kinds of ones like that. There's also affiliations based off of clubs, like the Shriners and the Rotary Club here in the city. There's scholarships for all sorts of um, organizations that just have some money to give and they want to give back to the community, so they give it to students, which is nice, right? You could also get money for being the first in your family to go to college. You can get money for being a female trying to get a fire science degree. You can get money for, um, being a particular race or ethnicity or being a particular religion. So, all those things that we're going to talk about as seniors, tons of scholarships out there for you. You can't, I shouldn't maybe necessarily skip this. You could do some of this stuff if you wanted to. You can get your FAFSA pin. You can check out and see what you think the FAFSA is going to tell you what your EFC is. If your EFC is, if you think it might be super low, then you're going to be happy. If you can get an EFC of 0, you're going to get all kinds of free money. The lower the better. And if you would like to, I'm putting this in the this PowerPoint in your iCap, so you can click on these and go check out some financial aid calculators if you want. What they'll tell you is how much financial aid they expect you to get. Pretty cool. And you can do things like, this net price calculator, that sort of thing. It'll tell you like how much money it says your family can pay, how much money the government will pay you, that sort of thing to go to school. Okay, so that was kind of a brief thing. You might have some questions about that, and feel free to contact me and ask me about them. But when you're a senior, we're going to go over them in kind of a little more detail. Okay, opportunities while you're still in high school. We talked a little bit about how Pickens Tech and about how CCA, you can do some classes there and for free. Well, APS pays for them, not free to you, free to you, but APS will pay for them. So if you're interested in Pickens Tech, let me know. We're taking applications right now as we speak until the end of February. And there's all different kinds of programs, like I said before, from cosmetology to auto body to early childhood education and creating mobile apps for phones to welding to property maintenance and electricians, and there's all sorts of stuff at Pickens. So let me know if you're interested in checking it out, and I'll give you the big long list of all the different kinds of cool programs they have there. You can also go to CCA, the Community College of Aurora, and there are two tests that you need to get in there. Either your ACT scores are outstanding. You get one free test in the spring, right? So juniors, I've been talking to you kind of in small groups when you come in this week about the ACT test. It's going to be in April 23rd. So, you could take your ACT score, but you'll probably want to do the AccuPlacer just because you can go take the AccuPlacer in March and be done that day. You don't have to wait until, you wouldn't get your ACT scores back until May. And by then, we've already signed up for Pickens. We've already signed up for CCA. So, you may want to talk to me if you're interested in a CCA class. They have classes in every subject you can think of at CCA. And what you need to do is take this short computerized test. The last couple people who did it for us, it took them 20 minutes maybe at the most. And then they got into a CCA class. We have one class that's taught by a teacher just for APS Online, and that's called Introduction to Business. So if you are thinking about business or marketing or owning your own business or anything like that, you might want to contact me so we can get you ready for the ACCU. So we can get you, a testing time. You take the test, you get registered for Intro to Business. You could go to CCA. There are a number of students doing that right now. Emma Rojo is one. Stephen Kenny is another one. And they go to CCA and take a class on campus there. It's kind of by the courthouse, if you know the courthouse on Alameda and Chambers. It's kind of over by there. The good news about doing either Pickens or CCA is that, remember like that first slide I was showing you, they can be expensive. I mean, they're not as expensive as some of the other schools, but $3,000 a year it's a bit of money. So you can, there are plenty of people who have taken 2 years of Pickens, right? 1 year as a junior, 1 year as a senior, and then they're done by the time they graduate high school and they have a certificate in something, right? Like welding or cosmetology or something like that. And there are plenty of people, Stephen Kenny is one of them, who's going to graduate high school with an associate's degree, right? So, he'll have a 2-year degree done by the time he's done with high school. How awesome is that? Then you can go right into your bachelor's degree and you already have 2 of the 4 years done. How sweet is that? Everything at CCA can transfer. So we make sure that, when you're choosing classes, that they're classes that will transfer. You know what I'm saying? So right, let's go back to the last one. And then there's the Ascent program. If you've taken enough classes at either Pickens or CCA, then you can be eligible for the Ascent program. So you need 12 college credits, and you can ask me if you have 12 college credits. But once you do, then basically you graduate. We hold your diploma, and then you go for an extra year of college. So say you have only done the 1 year, say, like you didn't do anything your junior year this year at Pickens or CCA, but you still want that 2-year degree, or you still want that certificate from Pickens, and it's a 2-year program. Well then, if you have enough college credits and you've done some work in college there, either in CCA or at Pickens, then we'll hold your diploma and you can go there for free. We have one student doing that this year right now. She's having fun over there. getting her degree for free. Okay, now here's where I want to talk about loans again. But first, let's go through what the chart says. It's basically how much you get paid, and it's based off of education level. So you can see, generally speaking, the higher the education, the higher the pay. Right? This is pay by year, right? If you have a professional degree, like a lawyer or a medical doctor, right? You get $110,000 a year on average. Good chunk of money. If you have a PhD, you're a professor, your average salary is about $90,000. Pretty good. If you have a master's degree, that's a 5 to 6 year degree in college. You get about 60, what is that, $2,000 a year on average. Also good money. If you have a bachelor's degree, that's a 4-year degree. It's, from CU and CSU and UNC and all those acronyms. You get a little over 50. If you have an associate's degree, like if you go to CCA, and you go to the Community College of Aurora and you get done with that, your starting salary is probably going to be just under $40,000. If you go to some college, it's kind of the same as an associate's degree, a little under 40 grand. If you graduate high school, though, you're looking at about $30,000 a year. So the difference between a high school graduate making $30,000 a year and a bachelor's degree making $55,000 a year, it's a $25,000 investment per year in yourself. Most of your teachers made it through college with loans, either completely by loans like me, or partially by loans and partially by scholarships. That happens a lot too, where you get some money paid for, but not all of your college money paid for. And I paid my student loans off. That's why I'm in my master's program now. It's because I paid off my undergrad stuff, and I was like, by the time I was 30, I was done paying it, and I was like, what else should I do? I should go back to school and reinvest in myself. So loans can be expensive, especially if you go to a really expensive school like DU. If you go to like a private school or like some of the more expensive like for-profit schools, like University of Phoenix can be expensive, but what you're doing is investing in yourself, right? So a person with a bachelor's degree, can pay $200 a month on their student loans and not really feel the pain that a high school graduate would, right? Because they've got a lot more money to play with. See what I mean? So, a lot of people say to me loans are really bad, and being in debt is bad if it's credit card debt because your money's not working for you. But, investing in yourself in a college degree is almost always a good thing because you're going to make more money, I got more loans for my master's degree, and look, I'm going to make more money. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's going to balance out. When I'm done paying off my student loans with my master's degree, I'll have that much more money per month, per year to play with, right? Okay, so that is kind of the spiel about financial planning for your future. So now your job is to complete the survey. Look at this, see, complete the survey. So you have to go into Naviance, you have to sign in as you, right? You have to go into About Me and Tasks Assigned to Me and click on the survey and do it. Okay, so to complete the survey, you go to My Planner and then Tasks Assigned to Me, the little purple bar, and then you're going to do the Financial Planning 11th grade. This is the PowerPoint right there, if you want it again. And then you just click on Complete a Survey. And these questions are what we just went over, right? Okay. and you complete the survey, and you hit submit answers, and you are done. That's all you have to do. All right, guys. Well, when you have questions, let me know, and I will either sit down with you and help walk you through this, or we can do it online. You can call me and ask me. Any one of those things will work. Um, you do have to have this done before you can register for classes for next year. You have to have your ICAP done. So I want to make sure that you guys get everything done by April, because April will be registering for classes. Okay? All right, guys. Good luck, and let me know when you have questions. Thanks, everybody.